All right. So, BUMED instruction 1300.2, Bravo. Suitability screening, med assignment screening, and EFMP. Next slide, please. Alright, so with this instruction, the biggest thing to pay attention to, because they like to mind fuck you with how they word the questions on this instruction, right? So, service members. Who's a service member? You, right? Nobody follows this rule, but they're supposed to. Okay? You get hard copy orders. You have within 30 days of those orders to be screened. Right? Go to medical, get screened, do your suitability screening. Right? 60 days for family members. Okay?
What if you can't get an appointment?
You mean like at a place like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you have to wait 2 months to even get a med refill? My tip to y'all, because I've been doing it since I've been here, I fucking just use the Genesis patient portal. I'm not gonna call anybody. I'd rather talk straight to my PCM and get an answer and try to have them squeeze me in than try to call a phone that nobody picks up on the other end for. But there's always these other clinics you can go to, but you're supposed to be seen in 30 days. Right? Family members, 60 days, right? Easy way to remember for the family members, usually if they have shit to get taken care of, dental-wise specifically too, that's going to take probably more than the 30-day time frame. They're going to get appointments out in town, get screened, and then bring those civilian records back to the MTF, while the MTF coordinator then signs off that they're good to go, right? Give an example of why that plays a role. Anybody ever been to Japan? Okay, so some of the things for Japan, because I can tell you right now, dental-wise, they don't have orthodontic, at the time, back in 2012, 2013, they didn't have orthodontic support over there. So if you had braces or your kids had braces, there was nobody to see you there for that continued care, right? So those are the type of things you have to be aware of why we're doing the screening process. Anybody, never mind, I can't ask that question, it's too personal. EFMP, right? It's another reason, okay? If you don't enroll your people in EFMP, there are certain locations that don't have the needs to support whatever your child has. And if you don't report that, you're SOL, right? You have to report that early so that your detailer can work with you getting orders that are going to fit the needs that are going to support your family. Okay? I'm going to educate y'all while I also go through this PowerPoint so we make sense to y'all. Okay? Next slide. It's an old ass slide here. Alright, suitability screening coordinator. Okay? Know that your suitability screening coordinator is going to be E6 or above. EFMP is E5 or above. It's a weird requirement. I've never seen a requirement where they put E5 in the instruction, but E5 or above for EFMP. Okay? Now, why do you think they had to be in the position of a minimum of 2 years? Especially with a program like this. Why is DHA doing all the shit they're doing nowadays with having less core minute short commands? They're trying to have continuity, so they're trying to have civilians that they know they're going to be long-term, so that they're not having to redo every process every 2 to 3 years, have continued care, right? Can you imagine if every year we're going to go do command collaterals and you're switching who the EFMP person is every single year? If somebody's in the middle of that care process, it could screw everything up, right? So they kind of want to have at least a 2-year time frame to keep that care, because this process doesn't just take a day, right? It's a lengthy process that you're going to have to make sure, especially think of you as a patient, right? Would you want to be handed off to a bunch of different people? This is why we want to have the consistency of 2 years. Okay? Pointed by the C on writing. That's kind of an obvious thing there, but next slide. The forms. Forms here, okay? Now, remember how I said things sound the same and a lot of stuff you're studying? Fine, I'm trying to remember these, right? Do you think I'm going to study the words medical, dental, educational, suitability screening? No. You know what I'm going to study? Checklist. checklist for your 1300/2. Okay? I don't worry about the worksheet because checklist is one unique word that is not in any of these. Right? Your screening for service and family members is your /1. Okay? Medical assignments. The only one that says medical assignment screening, right? So I'm going to correlate medical assignment with a /3, checklist with /2, and the regular screening with a /1. Okay? These are also outdated. Don't pay attention to these. Okay? This is Federal Dental Tech teaching you right now. Anybody know what forms we use? Nope. Easy 603 and 603 Alpha. Which one is the dental exam? Alpha. Easy 603 is the dental exam. The 603 Alpha is the dental treatment. Guarantee you on your test they will have both of those as your answer choices. So you need to delineate what the difference between an Easy 603 and an Easy 603 Alpha is. But yes, you are kind of correct, right? So for dental, where else is it marked on a suitability screening process? 28, I think it's the 2808 if I'm not mistaken. There's a block on there where you mark your dental class and then the provider signs that block. Am I wrong? I haven't seen a 2808 in a hot minute. But there's a block on there towards one of the third pages that you put your dental class on there.
That's correct, Jamal.
Sweet. All right. Next slide. All right. Now, the way it was taught to me, this one is filled out by everybody. So if there's any suitability screening coordinators and you want to tell me I'm wrong, please tell me. I've never served in this capacity. But this one's filled out if you actually have somebody in this program, the TAC 1. Everybody fills this out for the 2792 so they know what's going on with your family. Does that make sense to y'all? So if you have somebody specific for early intervention, whatever else, they're filling out the TAC 1. Otherwise, all general pop are filling out the 2792. Okay? Everybody should know what the 2807 is. If you don't, you're wrong, because it's the easiest fucking form to remember. Okay? Now, we had the other 1300/1, 2, and 3. Alright? I don't know why, but this one always sticks in my head. I never, ever think of anything other than overseas when I see a /16. So a 1300/16 is for overseas assignments. Alright? Now that I said that, I'm about to kick myself in the face. This also says overseas, right? So I want to find a word that lets me know that I'm talking about something different, right? Early return request is what I would associate with on the /28. Okay? /16 is just the suitability for overseas. Early return request is going to be your /28. I'll make sure I still have these guys online. Alright, perfect. Alright, next slide, please. Alright. Now this is the part I always used to get confused on. And this is where suitability screenings can correct me again. Alright? The screening MTF. Okay? Screening MTF would be us, correct? This. Our current command is the screening MTF. Completes the NAVMED 1300/1. Well, which one was the /1? Okay. What was the /2? Just checklist, right? For each service and family member. These slides are messed up over here. Hold on one second, guys. Alright. Alright. The suitability and unsuitability for service members for an overseas, so overseas is keywords, is put on what form? 16. Okay? Any family member who has a special medical or educational need identified during screening must be referred to the EFMP coordinator and documented on what forms? 2992 and the 2792 TAC 1. What was the key word for the TAC 1? Early intervention. I'm telling you, you need to pay attention to the words that stand out because that's the easiest way to relate when you guys are on the test. Next slide. All right, this is the part that fucks me up on the test. Okay. Transferring commands. Who's transferring command? It'll be us, right? You're the service member. Receives orders and initiates medical, dental, and educational screening at the supporting MTF. So they will go to whatever MTF they belong to and initiate the screening. Okay? The screening MTF suitability screening coordinator. Okay? Who did we say the screener was? Person here. Collects all the paperwork forms and conducts an MTF preliminary review. Forwards documents to the gaining MTF suitability screening coordinator. So what they do, correct me if I'm wrong, is once the service member gets all the paperwork filled out and they route it to their suitability screening coordinator at the command, they take that paperwork and then DOD safe it over to the suitability screening coordinator at the other command to where they're basically going to review it and say, we give you the omnibus dominus to send this patient or this sailor over here. We can support whatever needs they have. Supposed to be done before the PCS. I'm telling you from Great Lakes, there were still suitability screenings being routed a month after people were PCS.
Well, most facilities only send them if there's something that you like want yes to. They're like,
Yeah, worried, right? Make sure, hey, can we support these needs? Especially if it's like some weird thing where they just maybe got injured right before PCS or their family has some sort of specific need that they're going to see if that there's a support system needed for it. Especially when it comes to schools. That's the big one for EFFP is some of the disabilities that kids have. Not all schools have support services for those disabilities. All right. Gaining MTF suitability screening coordinator, right? So the command they're going to determines local healthcare capabilities and responds to screening within how many days? 7. Okay. Again, I want to make things make sense. Why do you think it is a short time frame for them to respond?
In case they screen out.
Okay, they say screen out, right? And who said bill it? Right? The Navy's a business. Okay? Everything is about money. Everything is about manning. Right? So if we know that this individual can't go somewhere and we wait on it, we are now having a gap to bill it. We're now having funding that's wasted that could just go ahead and be used to expedite that other service member to that location that can re-advertise those billets, right? You can't re-advertise a billet until that other, so say somebody you got accepted for a billet, you can't re-advertise until you talk to them and say, hey, I can't go. Otherwise, that's just going to say that you're taking that bill and now that's a gap for a month or two, right? These are how the gaps happen in the Navy. All right, next slide. Okay. MTF-CO, okay? The MTF-CO makes the medical suitability recommendation. I want you to memorize the word recommendation for MTF-CO on your 1300/16, which is what form? Overseas, part 2, and they forward to the transferring command. The transferring CO makes the suitability determination based on command review and MTF recommendation. Okay, so who makes the recommendation?
Yeah.
Who makes the determination?
Transference.
I'm telling you, you find those one little unique words in your test questions, it's going to click like that if you know what the answer is. Okay? Determination. So your MTF-CO makes the suitability recommendation. The transferring CO makes the suitability determination.
So is the transferring one the gaining or the screening?
Transferring it, sorry, that's where I fucked up. All right, so transferring, because this is where I got confused. Okay? Transferring CO is your CO. Okay? Because they already coordinated with the medical assets over there to say that they can support whatever those medical needs are. So once they have that recommendation back from that command, they're now routing up to the CO to have that final signature that that service member is good to go to that next command. Okay? So just like anything, right? Your MTF CO makes recommendation. The actual overall CO makes the determination.
I think the best way to look at it is when they say MTF, that's the medical treatment facility. We look at it differently, but it's reform. Essentially, like whoever signs off on your actual scenarios, that whether you're 1300/16 saying that the service member is good to go. Even then, it still has to route through your chain of command through like the actual like CLPF.
Makes a lot of sense. Greenside is a perfect example of that. Once I'm in Greenside, right? You have a Marine that comes in. Usually they belong to another echelon, right? We'll take MLG for instance. Okay? Say they belong to MLG, and MLG has their own CO. Okay? Well, now they have to still go get seen over at MTF for that specific situation. MTF makes the recommendation. They still have to go back to their actual CO and route it up for approval. Okay? That makes a lot of sense. We get confused as corpsmen because we see MTF.
I think the reason why it's so confusing because it says MTF CO. And
Mhm.
you probably should say like senior medical officer or something like that.
Yes.
along those lines. Because the medical officer is the one signing off saying, hey, medical wise, like this person is good to go.
To be honest, barely anybody uses the MTF term anymore, to be honest.
So this is basically our command. Both of them is our
Mm-hmm.
command.
The only thing that involves the other command is the other suitability screening coordinator that they're coordinating with. If they have specific needs, they want to make sure that they can support for that certain sailor or their family members. Next slide. Any questions about suitability screenings? All right, easy day. Let's pull up the PHA instruction, please. 6100.3 alpha. If you can't find it, just type in the search bar. Yep. Yep. Or is it 1 or is it 3? Might be 3. I think it's 0.3. Not 1. I can't remember off the top of my head here. Let's see here.
You should check the day one folder.
Yeah, it's in the day 1 folder.
Ah. Here you go. 6103 alpha, right under the 5132, 3, 4, and 7. Go all the way down, down, down.
It's like the fourth or fifth one from the bottom. Fifth one from the bottom.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep, there you go.
Now we'll cut those trees.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Kill. Babies.
Rock, kill, slay bodies. All right.
Instruction right now. I'm about to share it in the group chat.
Poochie. Everybody on. Oh, I'm waiting for pull ups here. It's Jesus juice right here.
Gotta love it. Right.
What the F? I'm about to punt this thing.
Right back down.
Open with Google Slides. You know the wrong thing.
6100.3 alpha.
Why does it say DH? I don't know. I'm confused. Okay. Alright. I love this instruction anyways. Where's my clicker left?